The night shift had just begun when Ethan Cole slipped into the silent hallways of the Zenith Tower, one of the tallest, shiniest, most impossible buildings in the entire city. To most people, Zenith was an emblem of success. To Ethan, it was simply where he swept floors for a living. Still, he walked with a quiet confidence, pushing his cleaning cart with a grace no one expected from someone wearing old sneakers and a faded janitor's uniform. His dark hair was tied loosely at the back, his posture straight, his expression peaceful, the kind of calm that came from surviving storms far worse than spilled coffee on marble floors. Ethan was a single dad, and everything he did was for his daughter, Lily. 11 years old, brilliant, endlessly curious, she had inherited her late mother's sharp mind. She was already reading at a high school level, teaching herself languages on an old tablet. Ethan, who knew 6 languages himself but rarely showed it, encouraged her relentlessly. At exactly 9:08 p.m., his phone buzzed in his pocket. He checked the screen, and froze. Unknown number, Netherlands. He stepped into an empty conference room and answered softly, "Hello." His voice switched effortlessly into Dutch, smooth and steady. The conversation was short but intense. Quiet affirmations, a moment of deep silence, a breath that felt like a goodbye or a promise. Then Ethan ended the call, put the phone in his pocket, and exhaled. But he wasn't alone. A single slow clap echoed behind him. Ethan turned. Standing in the doorway was Alexandra Voss, the billionaire CEO of Voss Innovations, one of the youngest self-made millionaires in Europe, and the woman whose name was whispered across the building like a myth. Tall, elegant, carrying the sharpness of someone who rarely heard the word no, she leaned against the doorframe with one eyebrow raised. "I thought the building was empty," Ethan said, clearing his throat. "It is," she replied. "Except for the janitor who just spoke Dutch like a diplomat." Ethan swallowed. "Just a personal call." She stepped closer, her heels making soft clicks on the polished floor. "A personal call that ended with, 'I'll fulfill my part, whatever it costs.'" He flinched internally. She had heard too much. Alexandra tilted her head. "Who are you, really?" "Just the janitor," he said, gripping the handle of his cart. But she didn't believe that for a second. The next morning, Ethan arrived home just after sunrise. Lily was already awake, wearing her oversized hoodie and eating cereal on the couch. "You look tired," she said, studying his face like she always did, too observant for her age. "Long night," Ethan said. She paused. "It was them again, wasn't it?" Ethan forced a smile. "Don't worry about that." But she already was. She always did. Before he could say more, the doorbell rang. They both froze. Ethan approached slowly, peering through the peephole, only to see 2 tall women in black suits standing with military posture. And behind them stood Alexandra Voss herself. Ethan opened the door a fraction. "Mr. Cole," Alexandra said, "I need to speak with you." Lily peeked out from behind him. Alexandra's sharp expression softened immediately. "And this must be your daughter," she said gently. "Good morning." Ethan stepped outside and closed the door behind him, blocking Lily's view. "What are you doing here?" he whispered sharply. "I need answers," Alexandra said. "And I need them now." It was a private call. "I run a multi-billion-dollar company," she said. "And I don't like mysteries happening inside my buildings, especially when the person causing them switches into Dutch with the fluency of someone who's lived in Europe for a decade." He stiffened. She had noticed everything. "5 minutes, she said. "I won't leave without the truth." Ethan looked at her guards, then back at her. "No." He stepped away. "Whatever you think you heard, it has nothing to do with you." Alexandra narrowed her eyes, not with anger, but with curiosity. "Fine," she said. "Then I'll offer you something." Ethan paused. "My company is opening a new research division in Rotterdam. I need a local liaison. Someone who speaks languages, understands culture, and can handle confidential communication." Ethan stared at her. "You're offering me a job." "I'm offering you a chance," she said softly. "But only if you tell me why a janitor speaks Dutch like that." His jaw tightened. "I can't." "Then I can't offer the job." She turned to walk away. But Ethan's voice stopped her. "Wait. They sat at a small cafe across the street, far from the guards, far from Lily's ears. Ethan stirred his tea without drinking it. Alexandra studied him carefully. Whenever you're ready. Ethan closed his eyes. I wasn't always a janitor, he finally said. I used to work in language intelligence. Not the spy kind. More like communications analysis. Government contracts. Netherlands. Among others. And the call. Ethan hesitated. Then, the man on the phone was my mentor. He's dying. He needs me to handle unfinished business. She leaned forward. Business that puts you or your daughter in danger. No. His answer was immediate. Too immediate. She noticed. Ethan, she said gently, I may be a millionaire, but I'm not stupid. He chuckled softly. Trust me, I didn't think you were. You're protecting her, Alexandra said. Whatever this is, you're shielding Lily from it. She's all I have. Alexandra's gaze softened, the corporate armor slipping for a second. I understand more than you think. Ethan looked up, surprised. People assume wealth means safety, she said quietly. It doesn't. For a moment, they sat in silence, two strangers carrying burdens no one else understood. Finally she asked, will you let me help you? He shook his head. It's not a world you want to step into. Too late, she said. I already stepped in when I overheard that call. Ethan sighed heavily. You don't quit, do you? No, she smirked. That's why I'm successful. That evening, Ethan returned to Zenith Tower to finish his shift. But the building felt different now, like every shadow had eyes. Every sound echoed louder. He was wiping down the glass railing on the 35th floor when Alexandra approached again, this time without guards. You never said goodbye earlier, she said, leaning beside him. I had work. You're terrible at avoiding people, Mr. Cole, and you're very good at cornering them. She laughed, an unexpectedly warm sound. I reviewed your employment file, she said. Half of it is missing. That's because I was working overseas. In positions that don't officially exist. Ethan stopped wiping. What do you want from me, Alexandra? She didn't hesitate. I want to know why someone like you, an intelligence-grade linguist, ended up pushing a cleaning cart. He looked out over the city lights, breathing deeply. Because my wife died, and Lily needed a father more than the world needed another analyst. Alexandra's expression melted into something almost vulnerable. I'm sorry, she whispered. Don't be. Ethan looked at her. I'm not ashamed of the life I chose. And the call today, she asked, does it threaten the life you've built? His silence was answer enough. Alexandra stepped closer, lowering her voice. Ethan, let me help. You keep saying that, he murmured, and you don't even know what it means. Then tell me. He opened his mouth, but before he could speak, his phone buzzed. Another Netherlands number. He stared at it for a long moment. Alexandra stepped back, giving him space. Ethan answered. Again, he spoke flawless Dutch, calmer this time, gentler. But Alexandra watched his body language change. His shoulders tense, his breathing shift. When he hung up, he didn't speak. Ethan, she said softly, what's wrong? He looked at her with eyes she had never seen, pure fear. It's Lily, he whispered. They want her involved. Alexandra's breath caught. Who? He shook his head. I can't say. If I tell you, you're in danger too. She stepped forward until they were inches apart. Listen to me, she said. I have resources you don't. Security you can't access. Influence you can't imagine. If someone is threatening your daughter, then you need me. Ethan's throat tightened. Why? He whispered. Why are you doing this for us? Her voice softened into something real. Because when you spoke to your daughter this morning, the way you looked at her, she shook her head. No one has ever looked at me like that. With that much love, that much devotion. Ethan blinked, stunned. You're the kind of man people move mountains for, she said. So let me help protect her. For the first time in years, Ethan felt something shift inside him, hope. He exhaled shakily. Okay. Her eyes widened. Okay. But on one condition, he said. If things get dangerous, if anything goes wrong, you take Lily and you run. You protect her like she's your own. Alexandra's voice was steady. I swear it. Ethan nodded. And for the first time, he told someone the truth. They stayed in that empty hallway long after closing hours, two unlikely allies planning for a storm only one of them fully understood. A janitor with secrets, a millionaire with power, a promise between them. And somewhere far away, a dying man in the Netherlands waiting for Ethan's final decision. Whatever came next would change everything. But one thing was certain. Alexandra Voss wouldn't let him face it alone.